Welcome to Attenuation, a weekly podcast where two friends come together to drink beer, discuss beer styles and trends, and just generally ruminate on the meaning of life, aka beer. If you enjoy your time with us, we invite you to become a weekly listener and subscribe to the podcast. Without further ado, here is this week's episode.
Hello, and welcome to episode 27 of Attenuation, a beer podcast. My name is Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade. That's Steven.
Hello.
How are you doing today, Steven?
Pretty good. Tired. I'm post-workout. It's the post-workout podcast.
Oh, dang. You ready for a reward of the beer?
Yeah. I did my workout so that I could drink beer. That's why I exercise. So I can eat and drink whatever I want.
So it ends up working out. Just get a little older. All right, cool. Well, we're going to do kind of a fun topic today. We're going to both design our dream breweries. So if money was, we suddenly are independently wealthy.
Yeah. Money is no object.
Money is no object. What would our breweries be like? So this will be kind of a silly but kind of funny episode. But of course, before we get into any of that, we got to do the best part of the podcast for us, and that's drinking beer. So
and if you say you're going to have an area of cornhole, I'm going to kick you.
No. No cornhole. Well, maybe one cornhole. I don't know. People like it.
You got to give the people what they like. Yeah,
exactly. If you didn't have one, every day someone would probably ask for one.
Yeah.
So, good points. No, I have cooler plans than cornhole.
Okay, cool.
At least to me, but I'm a big nerd, so be prepared. Okay, so I'm going to introduce my beer. I'll give some nose notes, and then I'll hand it over to Steven. So today I'm taking advantage of my proximity to Russian River, and I'm going to enjoy their STS Pils, which is their Pilsner. It's, I think, 5.3%. And actually have not had this for a really long time. I remember really liking it, so I'm excited to crack into this one.
You know, we mentioned in that one episode where we were talking about, going back in time and talking to, taking a beer to George Washington. This might be the beer you want to take back to him.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely probably a style that he would be able to recognize.
Right.
But the quality of it would probably blow his mind. So yeah, not what we're used to. The clarity is something I'm not used to.
So clear.
You can see right through it. It's got a nice, viscous, foamy head that is, it's retaining. It's probably going to be there for a little while. And then the color is very, very, very light straw, I would say. Ooh, and on the nose, fresh off the yeast episode, you do get that nice yeasty smell. And it just smells like, it's funny because I know it's going to be so good, but it smells like what you think beer should smell like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. I know I hate having to try to describe that, but it's just this very bready.
Yeah, I was going to say you get the biscuity, bready, savory aromas, and then a little bit, you can smell a little bit spice from the, the yeast and I'm sure it's there, but those are the two dominant things for me. So I'll pass it over. Maybe I'll try to collect my thoughts a little bit better in the interim while you introduce your beer.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I decided to, you went with a heavy hitter with the Russian River, so I'll try to match that with my Trillium American Stout with cold brewed coffee called Cacao PM Dawn, 9%. So I'm drinking a stout today, guys.
I'm very excited. You're slowly converting over.
A coffee stout.
Two things you don't like in one can.
All right, this one's pouring a very dark brown, almost no head. Very, very little head. It was a very effervescent head that did not last very long. So now it just looks like dark cola in my glass.
That is pitch black. It looks like you pulled liquid charcoal.
Yeah, it's really dark. The nose is great. Oh my gosh, it's like this really just like subtle coffee smell. Like I always enjoy going into like a coffee shop and smelling. Like I'm not a coffee drinker, but the smell is always enjoyable to me.
I love the smell of secondhand smoke and gasoline. And you definitely don't want to drink the latter, but I don't enjoy the former either. But for some reason, the smell of secondhand smoke to me is amazing. But actually smoking a cigarette is disgusting.
Huh, that's
weird.
That's
how you are with coffee.
Yeah, because it always seems to smell sweeter than it is, and then you taste it, you're like, oh, that's better, But that's what I'm getting is that sort of sweet coffee smell with just a nice milk chocolate sweetness coming into it, but still knowing that it's very much coffee, and then maybe just like almost a little bit of a floral hop aroma, which is kind of strange, but it's definitely coming through. All right, this will be fun.
Cheers. Okay, this STS Pilsner, it's as good as I remember. By the way, I read the side of the can, and STS, they said, is the 3-letter code for our local Sonoma County airport, the Charles M. Schultz Airport. So I guess that's where the name came from. I never knew why they called it STS. It's just very delicious and very well balanced. So on entrance, I'm getting like biscuits. It's very bready, and it's also sweet like honey. Then there's like lemon zest, kind of like this as it develops, and then in the finish you get it's like floral, slight hop bitterness. I would say like kind of grassy, and then it just has a really long finish where all those elements kind of blend together. It's super crisp and just very, very refreshing. It's like very crisp in the mouth, so. It's just it's a really nice beer to drink. It's the classic after a long day of like yard work or something. If you get to drink one of these, yeah, it's a good day.
Yeah.
So
it's just that it's first of all, it's a Russian River, and I think it's Vinny's, their head brewer Vinny. Like I'm pretty sure it's his all-time favorite beer.
I do remember. I think they said that on the tour. That's his favorite. Yeah.
Yeah. And if he likes it, I think it's probably a pretty good version of that style. Plus, it just makes such good beer there. So,
well, it's kind of like we talked about before. It's like the cheese pizza test. If you go back, you're at a new pizza place. I always say just start with a cheese pizza because then you can really
see what the dough's like.
Exactly, the sauce and cheese. And then if you go to a really good brewery, I feel like if they can make the Pilsner, that's amazing. That's like their cheese pizza, right? So yeah, it's incredible to me. I feel like when I first got into craft beer, I would never appreciate this beer, but now that I've getting more and more of appreciation of stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is actually super impressive as well.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something you can give to somebody who maybe only doesn't know how to get into craft beer or doesn't.
Oh yeah, this is a great gateway.
Just drink this. You like lagers? Drink this.
Yeah, I mean, it's akin to. It's not going to be unfamiliar to someone that just drinks like macro brews, but they're immediately going to notice, like, oh yeah, this is better. Yeah. This is better. Yeah. So, how is your stout, sir?
This is thumbs up right here. First off, it's a Trillium beer, so I think we looked it up. It's 97 on Beer Advocate. I guess I should have assumed that this was going to impress me, even though I'm not a huge stout drinker and I'm not a huge coffee drinker. The coffee is highlighting the chocolate. This is like putting like a 70-75% dark chocolate in your mouth and just letting it melt. Like it is this incredible dark chocolate flavor with this like dark fruit, kind of dark berry undertones, and then just this amazing milk chocolate finish. Like it's a little bit sweeter in the finish, but it is just chocolate all the way through. It kind of reminds me, like if you ever watch like baking championship shows and they make a chocolate cake, the best chocolate cakes always put in espresso powder.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's like a key ingredient to like a good decadent chocolate cake is espresso powder, and it just enhances the chocolate flavor. So I feel like that's what's happening here with the cold brew coffee edition. it's not overwhelmingly coffee. Like I'm not a coffee drinker, and it's not it's not pushing me away with a coffee flavor. It's just enhancing this chocolate flavor. It's just amazingly smooth and long.
Well, I want one of these now.
Yes, you would.
I would
You would
really
love
like that.
this beer. Yeah, like it's very simple in that it's like really just dark chocolate, but like the complexities are there riding through it with the like sort of dark fruit flavors that are probably coming from some of the malts, but it's just fantastic.
Nice. Well, I'm super excited you like it because I'm on a secret covert mission. I guess it's not covert or secret to displace your love of Goza with the love of Stout.
That will never happen.
Give me 5 more years.
Well, we'll see what the trajectory of Gozas is, because who knows? They start making smoothie Gozas,
Oh no!
and that's all they make. I might have to.
Check back in 2026. We'll see.
But as long as there's some breweries still making base Gozas or simply fruited Gozas, then I think I'll be good.
All right, cool. That was our beer segment. I found a news article for us today, so I'm going to be bringing us the news. This is kind of inspired by when a couple episodes ago, we talked about there was a global awards for craft beer, and a lot of the winners were coming from other countries like China and European countries, Southeast Asian countries, kind of all over the world. There's craft beer, which makes sense. So I found this article about craft beer in China, and it kind of gave some interesting statistics, which I wanted to share. So 80% of consumers in China do drink beer. So it's very popular. Beer is very popular in China, but only 1.5% of total beer sales in China is craft beer. Whereas in the US, so they're kind of like pre-craft revolution. And the US, this is actually what was also really interesting to me is, I didn't know this. What percentage of US beer sales do you think is craft beer, Stephen?
I feel like last time I looked, it was like, I don't know, 16 or 17%.
Yeah, I would guess it's like 10 to 15. But at least according to this article, it's a Food Navigator Asia article. It says in 2020, craft beers accounted for 28% of U.S. total beer sales. 28%. So that's crazy. That's post-revolution. So they have a long ways to go. They're at only 1.5%. And they said a lot of their craft beer that's being consumed in China, 75% is imported. But there are tariffs on those imports. So if you can start a craft brewery in China, you're actually quite competitive. They highlighted there's a brewery called 8 Pints, and they have a 6,000 square meter facility. They make 40 different types of beer, and they're doing everything from like raw ingredients all the way to packaging. And they're competitive because they said on average imported beer per pint sells for $7.75, US equivalent, of course, but they can serve a craft beer pint for $3 to $4. So they have 10 locations in China now. So it is cool to see. What I'm more excited about is 10 years from now, if China does kind of go through a craft beer revolution, I'm very excited to see what kind of beers they make. Like, are they going to make the best stout in the world? Or like this is, to me, I just see like way more options. And I could imagine China might have a lot of like adjuncts that might be unfamiliar to American palates, but it might be something that's like really amazing, because I feel like I'm always going to be seeking, and I feel like they do it in the craft beer world in America too. They're always seeking like, what new adjunct can we add to a beer to make it unique? So kind of cool. We'll see what comes out of there.
Yeah, I mean, they might have some like unique spices or, different Asian teas or that kind of stuff you could play around with in the beer.
Yeah, exactly. They said like they have already seen people using like local Chinese they have a different heritage. They're not too into extreme flavors, but they've already been using different flowers, peppercorn, jasmine, oolong tea, like making oolong tea beers and stuff like that. And like, yeah, cool. I think you could, like, an oolong tea lager actually sounds like super refreshing. So yeah, could be kind of cool. So we'll see what comes out of there. Now the question is, will you actually be able to get it in America? But It just depends. You can get a lot of
maybe.
You can get a lot of stuff in America from, I know, like Japan. What is that brewery with the owl on it? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
They have we get a lot of beers, at least in California, from them. I'm sad I can't remember their name. I'll look it up and say later in the episode. But they have, last time I went to Total Wine, they had a ton of beers, and they have some really cool ones. They make a red rice wine beer. Kind of want to try that one. So yeah. So I don't know. It's just kind of like, to me, I just see it as like more options of things I could experiment drinking in the future.
Yeah. Well, I think what was interesting too in this article is that they were talking about an app called like Juhar. It's like kind of an untapped equivalent app where you can like get on, you can rate beers, you can chat with people about beers and review beers. And they're trying to promote this app and get people more interested in craft beer in China. So raise awareness. Yeah,
I forgot to mention that. But yeah, that's kind of a cool thing. Like, we're both on. Are you on Untapped?
I'm not. I haven't found the value in it yet, but I probably should get on there. And
I was gonna say, I would imagine if you were, we'd be friends. I'm not super into it. I'm not really into social media stuff. It's kind of like social media meets beer drinking. But I just like to use it as like a digital record of every beer I tried. And then it will kind of tell you, like, I think you could set it up for notifications. Like, if something you like comes on tap locally, it can let you know, which that's kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I definitely use it as a tool because, like, when I Google stuff like beer, I use Beer Advocate and Untapped.
Yeah, for scores.
Look up beers or see some of the reviews on beers. So I kind of use it in that way. I've never like logged in or have a profile or kept track of beers or reviewed beers on Untapped. I use Beer Advocate a little bit more. You know, the other interesting thing you got me just interested in looking up some stuff about China's craft beer. They do have a beer called Snow. It's a macro, I think it's a macro lager in China, but they sell twice as much of that as Budweiser, 3 times more than Heineken, and 4 times more than Corona.
Wow. Well, they have a big market.
They have a lot of people.
A billion people.
Yep. So really, like, you think about American macro beers dominating the market here, but there it's even more in like at even a larger scale. Because not only do they dominate the market more, but they also have a bigger market in general.
Yes, they have a lot of consumers. Yeah, that's crazy. So it's cool. It's Hitachino Nest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the Japanese. And the one that I really want to try is they have a red rice ale. I don't know why I said wine. But yeah, it's supposed to have like a sake like profile.
Okay.
I got to pick one of those up. The only downside is it's kind of expensive because it's imported. So I think you're definitely getting dinged a little bit. But yeah, we'll see what we get in the future. Maybe it'll be maybe I want to drink 10 years from now, Stephen. I want to drink the Chinese equivalent of fundamental observation.
Well, I was also Googling a few like Chinese breweries. And there's one called like Great Leap and one called Boxing Cat and one called N Beer. The N Beer one, I couldn't read the website. It was all in Chinese. So it was hard to navigate their website. But the other two, like, it was all in English. And I mean, they had an IPA, a red ale, a stout, a couple different IPAs, a Pilsner, so they had an American Pale Ale. So they're making every style.
Yeah.
So not only like styles unique to China, but also just the most popular styles in the world. Or American styles even. So.
Yeah, it's funny to see, and that's what we noticed when we did the global awards. It's funny to see foreign countries making like West Coast IPAs or New England IPAs and actually like labeling them that. But yeah, that's kind of the region and where the style was born. So
yeah,
it's pretty cool.
The other, I noticed I was at Total Wine a few weeks ago, and actually at my local grocery store too today, there was like a Nordic beer. I think it was from Iceland. Anyway, I need to check out their stuff.
Okay.
Because it sounded cool. But anyway, yeah, I think you're just gonna start seeing that in general, more beers from around the world as they kind of join the craft beer revolution and get in on that.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm ready to drink more beer. Always ready. All right, sir. So you just won. You just won. How much theoretical money did you just win?
500 million.
Oh, okay. We're going big. Okay, you have $500 million.
I want to essentially make it limitless.
Okay. All right, we both won $500 million.
Because I got other stuff to do too, you know, with my winnings.
So the breweries. This is small
side gig. I'd like to just set it up and then, you know, let other people run it. And then I'll just drink beer.
That's what I was going to say. The problem with this is that if you have that much money, I think you and I both would... it would just become like our personal brewery where they're just making beer for us to drink.
Yeah.
And then if we happen to sell any of it, that's fine too. But
yeah. Because... yeah, I guess at this point, like with that amount of money, with the amount of money we're talking about, or like the limitless amount of money, essentially, like we wouldn't care if we were like brewing at a loss or whatever we would, or you know,
yes,
we would just want to make the beers we like.
So,
but that's what sells, you know. If you have passion in your beer,
that's true.
People will like it, and if you have a really cool, state of the art, top of the line facility, people are gonna want to visit.
Because they will think it's cool and they'll want to see it in action.
Yeah.
All right. So what's your brewery making? Well, first describe to me the physical location of your brewery and the design, the architectural design.
Okay. Well, it would be in San Diego.
Oh, really? You're coming back to Cali?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I love it there.
Really good weather.
The weather's perfect.
Yeah.
Like having a brewery with an outdoor space in some places, especially the places that get too hot, it's just too hard to manage, you know? You don't want to sit outside in a hot...
There's only so much hot heat that can be dissipated by those little spray misters.
Yeah. Remember how hot it was at Rubens in Seattle? And that...
yeah.
I feel like we had pretty good weather for Seattle. I mean, it was warm, I think, for Seattle.
Yes.
But still, like, sitting out there was kind of brutal and... like,
there is something about like hot sun and drinking do not mix very well. Like
yeah,
direct
it just doesn't make you feel good. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't feel good.
So
okay, so San Diego, I like it already. I'm gonna visit.
So large outdoor area for sure. Okay, tons of cornhole.
I thought you said no cornhole.
But that's you. I just didn't want you to copy me.
Okay, I'm not copying you. I would totally different.
Did I make it seem like I thought cornhole was cheesy? Because it is. It's super.
By the way, quick aside. Do you remember when we went to Seattle on our beer trip and we came back to the hotel? Part of the joy, so me and my wife have a tradition when we stay at a hotel, we get a bottle of wine and watch the Sci-Fi Channel. Because I feel like when you're in a hotel, it's a very unique opportunity to watch extremely strange TV. Now, it's kind of ruined now because, like, this is a little bit dating ourselves, but now I feel like every hotel you go into, you have, like, Netflix and stuff on the TV.
A lot of them, yeah, you can stream stuff.
Yeah, but try to limit yourself. I think it's fun. It adds to the spice of your vacation that you can watch a horrible sci-fi movie that did not have enough budget to be believable in any way. So anyways, what we watched, do you remember what we watched when you kind of
we watched the cornhole tournament.
We watched professional cornhole. And
it was pretty awesome to watch.
Yes, I was like, this is so stupid. And then about 30 seconds in, I knew I was going to watch for the remaining like 2 hours of the competition because
you get very easily emotionally involved.
That's true. Well, I just
like
get impressed.
You fell in love with that one guy, and you were
I like immediately had a favorite. Well, okay, it was a David and Goliath story. First of all, I'm always impressed by any individual who has dedicated themselves to a very specific art form, and these guys could consistently throw. You get 4 bags, right?
I think so, yeah.
They were fairly consistently throwing. Now, these are the best players in the world. All 4 bags, like, directly into the hole. Which I could
like nothing but net, kind of just like...
Yeah, exactly. Just imagine them, like, just nothing but netting 3-pointers, like 12 in a row. And you're just like, what is happening? So that was blowing my mind. But they had this one guy. He was like the reigning champion, but he was this older gentleman, and his day job was like he was like a production, like a line worker or something like that. And just also happened to be like the best player in the world. But then they had this like young gun. He was young. He was like 16 or 17, and he was like challenging the old dog. And yeah, I don't even remember who won, but I was very emotionally invested. So, anyways, cornhole is pretty cool. That's what I'll say. So I don't
You know what
wanna...
I would do is I would hire some like professionals to come
Okay.
and just be like ringers, you know, like just like within in the crowd, and then like start doing pickup games of
I like
cornhole,
that.
and they're just like they're just putting them in every single one, and all of a sudden you get this crowd that's just going
Oh yeah,
crazy.
people would gather and go crazy.
Would you recognize a professional cornhole player?
No, not in a million years.
Right.
And you have unlimited money, so.
Yeah. That's how I would rotate them out. So nobody.
So no one would recognize them?
Yeah.
And there would be like weird speculation of like why there's such good cornholers at your brewery.
Yeah. And then I could like start perpetuating the rumor that like maybe my beer
I was gonna say
made you a better cornhole player.
And you could get a beer. You'd make a beer and give it like a name. Like, what's the name for when they get all 4 bags in? They had a name for it.
I don't know.
I'll look it up, but whatever that name is, that's what you gotta name one of your beers.
Yeah. So, okay. Change of plans. My whole brewery's cornhole themed.
Wait, are you serious? Okay.
No. Just kidding. So, I guess, I mean, I don't know. Did you spend any time on thinking like what your architectural design would be? I didn't really spend a lot of time on that.
Obviously.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I didn't.
I think mine would be fairly simple, you know, but I want it to be nice and clean and like a cool color. Like dark, I like dark blues. So there'd be a lot of dark blues. And that's all the design aspects you're going to get out of me because I'm not design minded. Okay. But like dark blues and cool, like, and like darker woods, like walnut wood colors. Other than that, I'd only hire the coolest people. And I'd pay them really well so that they stayed for a long time because I have limitless money and I don't have to worry about making a profit.
Okay, I like this.
So lots of cool benefits for my people.
Okay.
And kind of like car salesmen, like have you ever had a bad car salesperson that knows nothing about the car they're trying to sell you? Like
yes.
You know more about the car than they do, and you're like, okay,
it's the worst.
I hate that. Because I've done like weeks and weeks of research before I come to the car, so I know like what engines are what and all this. Like I know all this stuff, and if they don't know anything, if they can't match my knowledge, it's a big turnoff for me.
Okay.
So anyway, I would like there'd be a lot of education and like making sure that my team could talk about the beers, speak to each beer very specifically, like how they're brewed, because I want to be able to ask my people ask the people serving my beer those questions.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
With the like craft beer revolution, like it is a hobby for people, you know, like us. It's not just like I'm going out to drink. Like for me, I'm very interested in like what's in my beer, how my beer was made, very specifically, and it's very hard to get those answers sometimes from brew staff. So that would be a huge thing for me with my staff.
I have a question.
Okay.
Do they all have to be cicerones?
No.
Okay. But they have to know.
That's pushing it. Okay.
What if you provide the training?
Yeah, I will pay for anyone's training if they want to become a cicerone.
Okay, cool.
That's one of the benefits of working for me.
Ooh, I like it. I want to work there.
Yeah. And number 1, we would have food.
Okay.
We would be a full service restaurant as well.
Okay.
With good food, like pretzels and beer cheese. A lot of my things would be made with my beers.
I love that.
You know, like stout. Use a stout in like my braised ribs and that kind of stuff. So I want really good food so that people can come eat and drink beer.
Yes, I totally agree on the restaurant front.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of beers are you making?
Okay. Only Gozas.
Only Goza?
I'm just kidding. A minimum of 3 different Gozas on tap at all time, though. Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have a strong Goza program, then everything else. Okay. For sure, always a good lager and a hoppy lager. Okay, because we're gonna make our cheese pizza and then we're gonna make our hoppy cheese pizza. Because hoppy lager, yeah, if you can nail that style, it's pretty fun.
That needs to be the next big beer, as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's a cool style. Like, just like to up that flavor profile from that lager to, oh, there's hops in this too. I think that's a cool step because you can bring flavor profiles that still aren't overwhelmingly hoppy or bitter and still have a really clean base beer profile. I like it. So definitely
And
a
I feel
lager.
like those are like a really good. It's like such a good gateway into like more complex craft styles that's not fully expressed.
Yeah, definitely.
So you'll be helping in that front.
Yeah. I think a solid amber and a solid porter, always good to have on tap for the people who want to move into maltier styles.
Amber beers and red beers are underrepresented, by the way.
Yeah.
We need more craft red and amber beers.
Yeah. And the other thing too is because they're not the first thing you think of when you're talking about craft beer styles. Sometimes they're not done very well, you know. So I think a little more focus, a little more paying more attention to making sure I make a good like red or amber or porter, I think is important. And then only one hazy IPA. Only one.
Oof.
Just a really good one. I know. I feel like we need to get away from that style a little bit, okay?
Yes.
I'll indulge the people that like them. No smoothie IPAs.
I was going to say, how many smoothie
No milkshake IPAs.
How many milkshake IPAs?
Zero.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
You're
I
fighting.
think we'd be a lactose-free brewery. Just keep the lactose out.
No lactose.
We can make good beer without lactose.
Okay.
Okay. We'll let other breweries do the lactose smoothie thing. We're not going to do that.
Okay. Fair.
No hard seltzers.
Okay.
I'll put one hard kombucha on tap.
Okay.
For the hippie crowd.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all they get?
Yeah. Maybe one cider, too.
Okay,
like a really good local craft cider. I'll put that on tap.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm not brewing that. I'll just bring that in.
You're going to import it?
Yeah. A strong sour program. Gozas, Berliner Weiss. I'm going to have a base Berliner Weiss. Everybody should drink that style once and have a good one.
Okay, cool. So base Berliner Weiss, but then you'll do like some cool variants of it?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Okay. I like it.
Any other questions?
Do you are you gonna do growlers and growlers?
Or which I'll make up answers as I go. Yeah, beer to go. Sure.
Okay, cool. And are you gonna be bottling and canning?
No.
No. Why not?
Too hard to maintain quality.
Okay, I see. You want it
once it leaves. I don't like that.
You want a high quality product only. Guaranteed fresh.
And yeah. That's why the growlers and growlers. Alright, if you want to take it home and drink it, I'm okay with that. But cans, certainly like distributing them out to like stores. Maybe like can releases in-house.
Okay.
That.
Yeah, local.
I wouldn't want to.
But you're not distributing.
Put it out to stores. Yeah.
Yeah, but they can buy cans.
They can come
they're at the location.
Yeah.
Okay. How about can art?
I mean, I'm gonna pay somebody to do that.
You're not gonna do like. How come? I have a question. You could capitalize on this. Well, maybe you can't do this. How come there's not more beers that are like dedicated to professional sports teams? Is that like trademark? Is that like a trademark problem?
What do you mean, like brewing a beer just for the?
Yeah, you can't make like the San Francisco Giants.
There are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I feel like your love of baseball needs to be better
in San Diego makes a beer for the Padres.
Okay.
And I feel like, well, I know like Anchor Brewing is like the official beer sponsor of the San Francisco Giants. I don't know if they like brew a beer there or specific for the team, but yeah.
Okay. I just feel like I love.
Yeah, I think a brewery just like did a partnership with the Indiana Pacers too. I can't remember what the brewery was, but to like make a beer for them.
Now, are you going to get a lot of heat for partnering with the San Francisco Giants when you're in San Diego?
Probably.
Do you think there's enough Giants fans in San Diego to go to your brewery?
Tons, yeah.
There's tons. Okay.
So the it's funny because the Padres have been like, well, like they were a perennially bad team
Okay.
for a long time, and then they like kind of went out and spent a lot of money, tried to like build a really good team, and so there was a lot of hype around them, and they've been decent the last few years because of it. But like during those bad years and those like the Giants won the World Series in 2010, 2012, and 2014. During that stretch of time when like the Giants were doing so well, they used to call the Padres Stadium. So the Giants Stadium was AT&T Park at the time. They used to call it AT&T South because if you went to a Padres game, like there were tons of Giants fans, like tons. When they played each other in San Diego, it was like almost all Giants fans. So, which is kind of sad when you're like the home team and like the visiting team like hits a home run and the crowd just goes crazy. It's like, oh,
that's not right. Yeah,
like no home field advantage whatsoever.
That's not how it's supposed to work. All right, so y'all plenty of clientele is what you're saying?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of Giants fans down there, or they're very good at traveling down there when the Giants are playing. So
gotcha.
Yeah, not a problem.
All right, good, fair enough.
You know what's really funny is we have do you have Ike's Love and Sandwiches or whatever?
We do. We have one.
We have that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're Bay Area based, but we have them here in Texas. And it's really funny because a lot of the sandwiches, even at the one here in Texas, are named after like Giants players and stuff.
Oh, they must be local to the Bay Area then.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. Like they have a Steph Curry. They have them like named after Warriors players and Giants players and stuff. So it always makes
pretty cool.
Me feel good when I can order something named after a Giants player here in Texas.
Yeah, there you go. I'm not a big sandwich eater as far as takeout goes, though.
Yeah,
it's pretty low on the totem pole. Like,
I think a lot of times when I always say like, "Hey, you want to get Ike's or something?" and my wife will be like, "Meh, let's get something else." Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, right.
Always...
Well, that's the thing is like, I don't know. To me, if you're gonna get something to go, like number one thing is like probably pizza.
Yeah.
And then probably close second is like Indian food or burritos. But I don't know.
That place. That
sandwich.
Dutch Crunch bread is freaking awesome, though.
Yeah.
Their sandwiches are good.
I don't know. Pizza and the sandwich never gonna hold a candle to a pizza to me. So I have to be in a certain mood.
Well, you remember, like, the Ike's in Davis was right next door to Blaze?
Yeah, and I said
I
predicted they would go out of business, and they did not. So, clearly I'm in the wrong. But I will tell you, I went to go try Ike's, and then went to Blaze instead. Because I'm like, I can eat my own personalized pizza, fresh out of the oven, or I can eat a sandwich. Like, give me a break.
Yeah.
But a lot of people like sandwiches, I guess.
It happens to me here too. So we have this really good restaurant called Jack Allen's, but it's right next door to Pint House Pizza.
Yeah.
And every time, well, I wouldn't say every time, but like a lot of the time, the vast majority of the time when we're like, let's go to Jack Allen's, we always like drive up and we're like, no, let's just go to Pint House.
Yeah.
Because not only like is the pizza super good there, but the beer is amazing, and like. Jack Allen's will occasionally have a Pint House Pizza beer on tap, but like one,
Yeah.
I can go to the brewery and actually get like whatever beer I want. So
no, that makes sense.
Just might as well go to the real source.
Your brewery sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's not as cool as mine.
Oh, I was gonna say when we were at New Belgium in Fort Collins, they had this really cool game outside. I can't remember what it was called, but it's kind of like this half pipe sort of thing. It was like long, kind of like curling, I would say. So there was like a circle kind of target on the ground, and then this like playing field that was like kind of had like a raised edge to it, like a half pipe kind of thing. And then you had these like rubber, it looked like a big cheese wheel kind of thing, like kind of a heavier rubber wheel. And basically you were trying to like roll it down there and have it like fall close to that target. But what you quickly realize is if you just like, even if you tried to like just roll it barely, it would roll all way past. You had to like strategically angle it so it would kind of half pipe its way down.
Oh, wow.
Like kind of like a S curve down and
Yeah.
slope down, and then like it would sort of lose momentum and just fall over. And then of course, like once somebody has done that, like you have to like try to strategically get it around theirs closer to the target. But it was super fun. Anyway, I thought that game was cool. Maybe I'd have that at my brewery.
Okay. Cheese wheel bowling.
Yeah, we'll change the pace so you don't get like sick of cornhole.
Okay, I like your brewery. Are you ready to hear about mine?
Wait, hold on. One more thing. You know what's a really fun sport to watch, like
What's
professionally, is frisbee golf, disc golf.
I would never watch that.
Sorry, not frisbee, disc golf.
Is that amazing?
It's incredible. These guys like make amazing throws through like weaving through like trees and stuff. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I believe
Yeah.
it. All right, I'll have to watch that. I'm gonna watch it on YouTube.
Definitely.
All right,
Okay,
so
now I want to hear about your brewery.
Okay, I have a couple updates for you. So in cornhole, if you get all 4 bags in, they call that a 4-bagger.
I can't. How did they come up with that?
It's very, very, very
Four
creative.
four bagger pale ale.
They also call it a gusher.
It'd be my American pale ale. 4-bagger.
4-bagger. Yeah.
Ooh, that's got good baseball. That's a baseball reference. A 4-bagger would be like a home run.
There you go.
It's some crossover between cornhole and baseball.
And then the other name I really like from cornhole terminology is airmail. That's when you toss a bag and it's basically nothing but net. It's when you toss the bag and it goes right through the hole, never touches the board in any way. Airmail.
I like it.
Okay, so my brewery has some similarities to your brewery. I didn't think about where I wanted it, but I think San Diego sounds good. But also I'm super wealthy, so I think I want it to be in Japan. Probably Kyoto.
Oh, okay. He's going international.
So here's the thing about my brewery. So I've been to some very, very, very cool video game bars. Have you ever been to one of those?
Okay, yeah.
Yes. So I'm thinking like I want a lot of like old arcade style machines, but then I also want like a lot of like retro and modern options like Street Fighter, like games that you can play together. Because I've been to a number of bars that have like really cool setups like that, but I've never been to one that's also like a craft brewery. So I want to fuse the two together. So it's going to be like craft brew, and probably I'll have some of the area would be not dedicated to video gaming.
Would you have Dance Dance Revolution?
Yes.
Cool.
Definitely. Do you like DDR?
How about Time Crisis?
Yeah, all that stuff.
That's my favorite game.
Oh, I love Time Crisis. Wait, is that the one where you can step on the pedal to
hide?
Yeah.
And the gun, like when you shoot it, sort of gives that little like gives you a little bit of
has recoil.
Recoil. Yeah.
That was real. Like when that first came out, and you could hide by stepping on the pedal. That was ahead of its time, sir. That was cool. So yeah, all that stuff.
And Cruising USA too.
Oh, definitely.
Sorry, I'm giving you my.
No, you're bringing back all these good memories for me. Yeah, so it's going to be targeted at like our demographic. So like, it's going to be like all the games you grew up with, and then also really amazing craft beer and food. So same thing. I want to try to hire people that are very passionate about beer. Obviously, I'm going to pay them ridiculously well, give them good benefits because I don't need to make money. Although I will say I do want to plug, like, from what I've seen and from the people I've talked to at like Sierra Nevada, people stay there a long time because they do pay you really well and they give you good benefits. And I always like to see examples of capitalism where, like, instead of min-maxing profits like to the nth degree, you're like, hey, what if we just made a little bit less money but we made all our people happy? It's always so refreshing to see a business like that. And then one, you have way better staff, and two, you don't turn over as often. Turnover is insanely expensive. Like training new people is so expensive. So yeah, I want a really happy staff. And then they don't have to know about video games, but ideally they like video games and beer, but they don't have to. They can like one or the other. And I want to have mostly stouts. Like you said, all goes. No, I want to focus
I was kidding. Jason is not kidding.
I want to focus on barrel aging. So barrel aged
Okay.
stouts and barrel aged sours.
Okay.
But then we can also have a hoppy lager. Yeah, like I want one of everything, but a lot of barrel aged stuff, right?
Okay.
So that's a big focus. But then I also want an employee brewing competition.
Ooh, that's cool.
So like if you're interested and you work there, you can do like a small test batch. And then we like every month or I don't know what the time period is, I got to win $500 million first, then I'll figure out these details.
Yeah.
But on some time like window, maybe it's 3 months, we have a competition of all the employee beers. And then the one that wins, we put into like full production cycle, and then we have on tap, and then they get a percentage of the sales, of the profits of the sales. So that will encourage, so that will encourage all the real like beer nerds to come work at my brewery and try to test out their ideas, and then they could potentially like become part of the main lineup. And then I think it'd also be cool to like, I know that they do like, I think they do. I'm stealing all these ideas from the best breweries, but I know they do like beer camp and stuff like that. But it'd be cool to have a public side of it too. Like people can come in and brew. And I also want to have like, because I have all this money, I also want to dedicate part of my brewery for, what do they call the breweries that don't have their own facility?
Oh, like a gypsy brewery?
Yeah, I want gypsy breweries to like come in and be a cool brew at my facility. So in that way, between like the employees and the gypsy brewing and maybe the public brewing, we're going to have like a lot of really out there unique stuff. And then I totally agree with you. You need like a full kitchen. Like I want it to be the whole experience where you can eat and drink. That's about it so far. Cool. Do you have any questions about my brewery?
Any like specific design, architectural?
Retro.
Okay.
But chic.
Retro chic.
So like sort of modern, but also kind of a callback to like the 80s and 90s. Because there's going to be like all the arcade games and stuff.
Like a cool like short carpet with like geometric designs.
I know that sounds horrible. How about wood floors or tiles?
I'm just thinking of like a cool arcade floor, you know?
I know, but you can't have carpet in a brewery.
Yeah, it gets like the arcade part.
Yeah, okay,
fine. Like all integrated.
Maybe it's like tile that looks like that design. I just don't really like carpet.
Are the games coin operated?
No, everything is free to play.
Okay, because those coin op games just stop working, especially the old ones.
Yeah, they're just gonna stop working, and
just be out of order all the time.
Because I'm independently wealthy.
You don't really want kids coming up and being like, that game ate my quarter, and you have to give them a quarter.
Exactly. Like if I was
remember how horrible that was at the
yes. Oh yeah. And they like or you'd like put your money there's a million problems. The one, I hated it when like they ran on the proprietary tokens. It's one thing if you just get quarters, that's fine. But like if you get proprietary tokens, because then if you don't use them all, you're like bound to return, and they have no monetary value.
I think that's the point.
I know, but it's so annoying. Yeah, so there was that, and then they would like eat your quarters, and then you'd be like, you had almost beat Simpsons. You remember that Simpsons game?
Yeah.
And you try to continue, but it wouldn't work, and the countdown would go to 0, and you'd have to start over, and you never got that far again. Horrible. So yeah, it's just gonna be free play. If I was for profit, maybe I'd do some fancy thing where like your cell phone activated it and it costs $5 a month or something. But I'm gonna run it as a nonprofit organization. So
there's a place in Austin called the Bishop Cidercade. So it's Bishop Cider. It's like a cider brewery, and they just have basically that, like a kind of a retro arcade. And I think
they stole my idea.
I know. You just pay like $10 to get in, and then all the games are unlimited play. And then of course, like whatever all the food and beer or food and cider is extra. But yeah, it's the $10 just to get in, and that like gives you unlimited gameplay. So
yeah, no, that's kind of like, it's all my favorite things. It's like local play video games. So like imagine a lot of those 4-player games like The Simpsons, where you're all playing together on the one console. Beer and really good food.
How about like a state-of-the-art VR section?
Yeah, there could be a VR room. That'd be pretty cool. I worry a little bit about beer intoxication in VR.
That's true. That would
But I guess
not
I'm rich, so
mix.
I have really good insurance. But yeah, someone would definitely hurt themselves or like break all the VR equipment.
Yeah, that would be like a little bit harder to run.
No, I don't. I guess no on the VR. This is a
Okay.
retro game.
Gotcha. Okay.
So you're gonna come to my brewery?
Totally.
All right, cool.
I'm rich. I'm gonna hang out there all the time.
Maybe I should just do it in San Diego, right next to your brewery.
No, you can't compete with me.
Why? We're not for profit. Okay, fine. We'll be in Japan, but we're gonna be so far
I'll
away
be
from
like,
each other.
I have to like hire one of those sign shakers to be like, cornhole here.
What if we get into a cold war of sign shakers and you have like 10 and then I get 11, and it just keeps going until there's like 100 sign shakers in front of our businesses? What if we got into a cold war and we bankrupt ourselves?
Yeah, that would be. Little lawyers looking over stuff like, how many sign shakers did you hire? Seems excessive. Like I'm out of money.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was possible, but I guess it is possible.
I spent all my money on sign shakers and like ridiculous. Like I'll have a blimp that says your brewery sucks, and I'll just fly it around San Diego all 24/7.
I'm gonna get the inflatable like wiggly guy, you know?
Those are awesome. Put one on the roof of your brewery.
Do we still have the podcast too?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Yeah, that would be cool. We could do collaborations.
Yeah. Okay. We'll both be in San Diego and we won't compete with each other, but we'll do collaborations.
That's the other thing. I would do collaborations with Stone, Modern Times, Coronado Brewing, all the San Diego breweries.
Yeah.
Mike Hess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do a lot of collabos.
Yeah.
I would basically just use my position and wealth just to like collab with all the beer places I liked.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be fun.
I could do like a San Diego, LA collaboration with Bottle Logic.
Yeah.
On a barrel-aged Imperial Stout.
Fundamental observation collab.
You're like, can we just brew fundamental observation but say it's a collaboration? And that's the collaboration.
It's a collaboration between Bottle Logic and my personal cellar.
In my mouth.
I'll be pitching it to them. I'm like, here's the pitch. We're gonna collab. I'm gonna pay you $100,000. You brew in the.
I was just about to say, excuse me, what's in it for us? Like, oh, money? Okay.
Money? Yeah, I'll write you a check. You brew fundamental observation, and then you put a picture of me and Steven's face on the bottle, and then I drink it.
And say it's sponsored by Attenuation of Beer Podcast.
Oh, you know what else we're going to do?
Mm.
We're going to do a collab with Lagunitas and make them brew Aunt Sally.
Yes. And the original Ocho Vase, too, with Sierra Nevada. Actually, I'll just brew it myself, and I'll just call it something else.
You should hire. You should steal all of their staff.
I'll call it Ocho Vase.
Ocho Vase. What they need? Okay, so this is a thing that's like popular in other hobbies. It's like retro stuff. They really need to like bring back some of these old popular styles in like, even if they did them for like limited runs and do like callback runs. I think that would be something that would be successful. It's like Taco Bell. You know how Taco Bell like always changes their menu? Like they'll do lava sauce like once every 5 years. And then when lava sauce comes out, I will basically exclusively eat Taco Bell until lava sauce goes away. But then they know. It's like their whole plan is they just keep everything that's good at Taco Bell.
It's like the McRib.
Yeah, it's like the McRib. It's always limited release, artificial scarcity.
Yeah, I mean, if you can make it when you want it, make it. And then if you stop making it, like, just create hype.
Yeah, you create the hype. That's what they do. So they gotta do short window of Aunt Sally, create the hype. so I can drink it again. All right, Steven, we got it all planned out. We just need $1 billion.
Yeah, we just need some money. Man, if we could get this podcast going a little bit more globally.
This podcast will never make $1 billion. I don't even think like any podcast is making $1 billion.
No.
We gotta look for other avenues of income.
Lottery.
Yeah,
we'll have to start playing.
I actually play the lottery.
Yeah. Is that like your work group or what?
Yeah, so my work group started a lotto club. I tried to talk them out of it. They said, this is stupid. We're going to waste our money. They could not be dissuaded, and they started playing the lottery. So you know what happens when all your friends at work start playing the lottery?
You play too.
You have to play the lottery. Because in the event that they win and you didn't play, you have to watch all your friends at work retire, and you have to still work. So basically I burn... it's not that much. It's $4 a month that I donate to the government because we're never going to win. But
hey, that money goes to schools, right? Or something.
Yeah, something like that. But it's $4 a month to ensure that in the 1 in 100 million timeline where we do win, I'm not alone at work with no friends. Because that would be like,
I think it's worth it.
Yeah, because you'd be so miserable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that would suck.
So I have to play.
You'd hate your life.
Yeah, and they'd always be texting me, like mocking me probably. Remember when you didn't join our lotto pool? Yeah. Here we are in Italy drinking I don't know, what are you drinking in Italy? Wine. And I'm in my cubicle.
That would be pretty depressing. That would actually be pretty messed up for them to do that, to rub your nose in it. That doesn't sound like true friends.
Yeah, maybe I should reevaluate my friends. So anyways,
if you're I'm sure they would rub my nose in.
So anyways, I played the lotto now for probably like 10 years, and I've never won.
Yeah.
And I'll never win.
I'll really never win because I only play when it gets like $1 billion.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of people that don't play the lottery will buy a lotto ticket when it's that high. Because it's kind of like, man, if you turn $2 into $900 million, wow. Still statistically a waste of money, but it's hard not to take a crack at that. Because then you could build our stupid breweries. Yeah. Maybe someone that's a fan of the podcast now will win $1 billion, and then they'll contact us at attenuation.contact@gmail, or they'll DM us on attenuation.podcast on Instagram and be like, guess what? We want to fund both your breweries.
If I get that email, I'll probably just delete it and assume it's spam.
What if it's real?
That's a scam.
Yeah. I have money. Guess what? We have millions of dollars for
just for you. Sure.
No, but this is going to be a real fan.
Okay.
They're going to tell you facts about episodes 3, the early episodes.
Yeah.
Because no scammer would know this knowledge.
But if it's a Nigerian prince offering me $100 million for my brewery, then...
What if he really likes beer?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe.
What if he tells you his Goza is his favorite style?
Yeah, then I'm probably going to send him the money he needs to then transfer me money.
I'm going to write this email tonight.
I got $100 million, but you got to send me 50 so I can wire it to you.
But I don't have the money to wire it to you. Oh, boy. Anyways, do you think we did a good job this episode?
Yeah.
All right.
Describing our dream breweries.
Yeah, this was fun. I don't know if the listener had any fun, but I had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Dreaming stuff. So, like I said, you can always contact us at attenuation.contact@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram. It's Instagram. Or what is it? It's attenuation. Our Instagram is Instagram.
If you go to Instagram.com.
The Instagram.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we put a cool picture on Instagram. You should go look at it, and you should also follow us. It's a picture of the magic sticks from our yeast episode.
That's cool.
Yeah, those are really cool. They're hard to imagine. You got to look at them. So go look at it. and follow us, and donate $500 million for our breweries.
Thank you.
All right. Well, should we sign off, Steven? I think that's a pretty good episode.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Well, this is episode 27 of Attenuation of Beer podcast. My name's Jason, and I'm joined by my best friend since 8th grade, Steven.
That's me.
And we are saying farewell and cheers until next week for episode 28.
All right. Cheers, buddy.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Attenuation, a Beer podcast. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on Instagram or Facebook for more fun content. Catch you next week. Cheers!